Hey there boys and girls, Lucky here and welcome back to another CSGO video. Today we're talking about what playing aggressively in CSGO is and partly how to do it. So I'd say, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so you guys have been asking me over and over again how to play aggressively. You even asked me on Twitter about it, so here we go. Now, first of all, I want to get this out of the way right away, is there's no real rule or way to properly, just say do this and that and you're gonna be playing aggressively. There are a couple of things that I can hint towards and kind of give you loose guidelines on what to follow, but it's mainly just, basically there are not many advanced tutorials, because once you're getting better and you build up the game sense, you know what to do. You kind of don't need a tutorial for that anymore. That's why there are so few advanced tutorials, and that's also why there's no real proper way to say this is how you play aggressively, just push through every smoke and blah blah blah. That's not how it works. You always want to make the proper decision for the situation. That's why you should always say I'm an aggressive player and I'm always going in first and yada yada yada. You want to play it by ear. You want to get a feel for the match you're in and basically decide based on that. Having said that, let's get right into the actual thing. Now, of course, first of all, the most important thing, or well said, if we get an AWP right here, the thing that's usually the best for me, since I'm mostly also an AWPers, when I get a good B spawn, or this is an example, then you go quick towards B. Now, you can see all of these flanking routes with the early contact points of where we meet the enemies in my early AWP pick videos. Then you go here for this pick. This is essentially playing aggressively with an AWP, because you're trying to get the first pick of the game. So this is one way of going about playing aggressively, because if you get an entry right here right away, because usually they will be dropping down, if the other guy also has an AWP, he's probably going to challenge you and also trying to kill you. So it's really coming down to who's the better player kind of right off the bat, and again, kind of who has the better spawn, so you want to decide. Usually if the other guy has a very bad spawn, he might not actually drop down, so you're just sitting here, but at least you already established some sort of control over the map until to this point here. Now, many people also often ask me, if they're not AWPing, for example, because more people actually do rifles, since this is also what's making sense, since you mostly need one AWPer, how do you push through smoke and stuff like that? Now, if we actually go over this right here, so let's just do a half side smoke, and you're actually pushing in with flash, and you're now on this side. Now, usually pushing through smoke is always a bad idea, because as you can see, right here you're able to see again, and you're already far out of the smoke, so the guy on this side will see you a lot sooner than you're able to see him. So essentially, when you actually have a smoke, so let me just redo that, you can only really properly push through by using even more utility, like the flashbang. So sometimes you can do some weird tricks where you just drop it like that and then you run out with it. So this, you can see, I just did a right click right above me, and it kind of, didn't really make all that much sound. You can see it bounce just a little bit, so the sound isn't really early enough for the enemy to dodge it. So when you're in a smoke, you can do that, just right click right above you, walk a bit forward and then push out, so you can actually see properly. You can see it goes up until this point, so it's really all not that bad. So if we just wait for it, it trails down, falls, and there it goes. And then the enemy is flashed. And this is the proper way to actually push out the smoke. This is also what you see Stu2K doing a lot when he's, I don't know, for example, let's say this one right here is smoked off, or let's put it right here. Then there will be something in this regard, if you want to push through, you can also set up some different smokes where you have a friendly flashing for you, so you can then go in right away and your back is not being blocked. But it's always risky, because especially since smokes usually are kind of at contact points like this one right here, once you push out, you're immediately exposed to this, and this one, maybe even this one. So that's why you usually don't push through smoke. You want to really play it by ear. So if you know that they have a certain setup, if you are in the game a couple of rounds and you kind of what they're playing, it's a lot easier to make those kind of decisions, but you never want to just push through the smoke right off the bat. It's easier if you got a good AWPer on your team to let him go or try to go for early picks like that, since that is really somewhat of a consistent way, even though that's not completely aggressive. And keep in mind, the best aggressive way can I get this back? No? For AWPing isn't really quickscoping, since as you might know, if we just again get the accuracy command, so I'm just hitting space and type in accuracy, hitting down 3 times and then type in 2, enter. this is the spread of the AWP. Now, if we fire it quickly like that, you can see the spread is still too far. So if you see people quickscoping like this and they're pulling it off, it's majorly luck. If we compare it to the normal, once the blur's gone, you can see that's accurate, that is obviously not. So it only works if they're extremely close up like that, and even then it's kind of a risky thing to do. Now, anyhow, back to the AK, because this is actually like in general rifles are better for playing aggressively since you can stutter step. Now, stutter stepping or counter strafing is the thing where you of course just kind of hit the opposite direction key once you're strafing it, just tapping it like that, and so you're accurate again, so like this. Instead of like this, where you have like the big circle if you're not doing it. So you're just doing it like this, and it's completely fine. And of course, if you're doing that, so let me actually get rid of that again, that's a little distracting right here. If you're trying to peek, it's again, mostly if you're going for like an aggressive play, it doesn't mean you just rush out like this and you try to then make something happen. You still want to play with your brains, meaning you do have the proper crosshair placement and you just go about it, like checking all the corners and stuff like that. You want to have very good pre-aim. Of course, if you want to be very aggressive, you can also kind of pre-fire certain spots like this right here. And if you're doing so, the thing is that you're kind of giving away a little bit more of your information of what you're doing, where you are and stuff like that, instead of normal pre-aiming. But in case there is someone, you're already putting some sort of pressure on them, so it's always like two sides to that coin, and you want to kind of, again, decide. That's why you kind of want to have the game sense first before you actually try to force yourself to do stuff like that, because you never want to force yourself to do like stuff like that. You want to, as I said before, play it by ear. And again, playing aggressively is mostly about getting more efficient, so once you know you're checking this one, then you're going down to this, going over to this, then this, up here maybe, down here, check around this corner, but you're mostly not going to see the guy in the corner there. This is really more about becoming more and more efficient. So if you're really, like, that's what you see in pro play. It's very fast, it seems like they're extremely aggressive, but they're just like, it's so much in their muscle memory that it's like second nature to them. It's just like almost automatic kind of. And that's why it's like looking so aggressive. They're just very efficient with what they're doing. And this is what really can kind of make you an aggressive player, of course. The other thing is, as I said before, early AWP picks are always nice. You can also do that with like a weapon by pre-firing. That's essentially kind of a similar thing. And then of course, if you're in a smoke, you can also kind of push through that like that. And then again, like if you're on a pistol rush, just go all five somewhere, flash yourself out, and then just overrun them, and that's pretty much that to it. But you at least want to get a P250 for that to get the one-hit headshot, stuff like that. So yeah, this is pretty much everything I can tell you guys about playing aggressively, since, as I said before, it really comes down to how good you actually are. Once you are, like, have mastered the basics, you're really able to like refine them and become faster and faster and faster. And at one point you're so fast that you're looking really aggressive. And then again, you always want to play it by ear to see what is the best kind of strategy for the current situation. But yeah, I think it's pretty much all for now, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and luckySkillFaker out.